Assembly is the name given to the section in which all the parts that compose the upper and the sole are united in order to construct the shoe. There are several ways of doing this union. Each one is designated with a type of construction, and in any case we will have an own sequence of operations of assembly of the upper on the last, associated to a certain method of fixation of the sole. A method of assembly of the upper can be combined with one or several methods of fixation of the sole, originating like this a variety of types of construction. Each type of construction is associated to a certain group of characteristics related with the use, the fashion, the price, that will condition its choice for the produced shoe. We will speak about these characteristics in particular for each one of the construction types presented. Goodyear construction system. Hereby are presented the main operations for the Goodyear assembly. To cement the lip in the inner sole. To set up the upper on the last. To stitch the welt to the inner sole. To cement the sole to the assembly inner sole. To stitch the sole. To finish the sole. Last pulling. In this construction system there is no direct fixation of the upper to the sole. The upper is fixed first to the inner sole, which is later fastened to the sole through a seam. This construction system presents some advantages in relation to other construction systems, namely, the type of material used in this construction system make the shoe more breathable. The cavity created in the front area of the shoe is filled with cork agglomerate and/or cork plate that makes a more flexible and comfortable shoe. It presents a larger isolation against cold and heat. Construction process. The first phase consists of the preparation of the assembly inner sole and of the upper for subsequent fixation of the upper to the sole. This inner sole possesses a particularity in relation to those used in other assembly systems. The assembly inner sole is constituted by a foot mark and by a wall with about 5 mm, usually designated by lip of the inner sole. This lip will serve for the fixation of the skin and lining of the upper through the seam. Placement of the stiffener. In order that the upper gains shape, it is necessary to place the stiffener. This is placed in the back part of the shoe and it is going until the counterpart. Its purpose is to give firmness to the shoe after this is taken out of the last. Placement of the toe puff. The toe puff is placed between the skin and the lining. Its function is to protect and to give shape to the shoe. The second phase consists on the fixation of the sole to the upper. Here we describe the operations to execute in order to obtain the Goodyear system. To fasten the inner sole to the last. The inner sole is placed in the base of the last with the lip of the inner sole facing the exterior of the last. Pulling and lasting toes. This operation nowadays is made mechanically. The upper is placed on the last and this is positioned in the machine for the operation of lasting the shoe. Here there is to enhance that it is necessary that the employee correctly positions the upper on the last, having attention to the following points. The toe area of the upper should be well centered on the last. Verify that the back counter's height is correct, using as indicated the demarcation that usually is done on the last. Only after the verification of these points we can drive the machine to close the area of the toe. To close shoe sides and seats. This phase will allow closing the shoe from the area of the shoe sides until the seat. For a correct execution of the operation, it is necessary that the height of the counterparts is verified on the last and, if necessary, to readjust the height. This operation can be made in a side and seat lasser machine, or as we can watch in the pictures, to use a stapling machine. To trim excess of material. This operation has as function to remove the excess of skin of the assembly edge of the last to facilitate the fixation of the welt to the lip of the inner sole. To stitch leather welt to the lip of the inner sole. The operation consists of the fixation of a welt to the area of the shoe sides through a stitch. For the accomplishment of this operation, it is necessary a technical knowledge and some expertise because the bad execution of the operation may put in cause the final product quality. To finish off tips. It consists of pulling the tips of the seam for the interior of the inner sole. This operation is manually executed. To remove staples. Just as the name indicates, this operation consists in removing the staples that previously were to fasten the inner sole to the last, to reboot and to lift the welt. The execution of this operation has as function to position correctly the welt so that it is possible to accomplish the subsequent operations. To put reinforcement in the area of the footbed. In this area is placed a metallic reinforcement that it is usually designated by shoe shank. In the pictures we can watch that the fixation of the shoe shank is made through the application of plastic glue. Agglomerate injection in the assembly base. This operation consists on the injection of cork agglomerate in the box created in the area of the inner sole that possesses about 4 mm height. The injection of the cork agglomerate allows the correct adaptation of the foot to the shoe, absorbing the freed sweat at the same time. To apply glue in the assembly base and in the sole. This operation consists of the preparation of the materials for the cementing. To assure the correct execution of this operation, it is necessary to verify if the upper and sole are not dirty with glue, the glue was well spread in the upper and in the sole. To cement the sole to the upper. The sole is pointed manually to the upper and later the shoe is put in a press for the execution of the pressing of the sole to the upper. To reboot the shoe in the area of the welt. The sole is rebooted in the area of the welt in a way to guarantee a correct cementing of the welt to the sole. There are companies where the operation to reboot the area of the welt is made before the pressing and other after the pressing of the shoe. In both cases, the purpose of the execution of the operation stays. Trimming the edge of the sole. It removes the excess of sole existing, closing the edge of the sole with the one of the welt. To stitch the sole. This operation is mechanical and it consists on stitching all around the sole to the shoe. In the pictures we can watch that the machine opens the channel simultaneously with the stitching operation. However, not always companies possess this type of equipment, originating the unfolding of this operation. Thereof, we can have the operation of opening the split in the sole and the operation of stitching. To cement the heel to the shoe. To prepare the sole and the heel for the cementing. The heel is pointed manually to the shoe and later the shoe is placed in a press for the execution of the pressing of the heel to the shoe. To trim the edge of the sole by thick and soft. After the fixation of the sole to the upper, it is necessary to remove the sole excess that exists in the edge of the shoe. This is one of the operations that need great care in its execution. It is divided in two phases. In the first, the material is thinned, and in the second phase, the goal is to finish the shoe. Last pulling. It removes the shoe from the last. To nail the sole in the area of the heel. The operation is made mechanically and it fastens the sole in the area of the heel.